Hello and welcome to this bonus episode of The Rest is Entertainment, a special bonus episode, I think I can say, Richard.
Yeah,
I'm Marina Hyde.
And I'm Richard Osman, and we have just watched, as I hope you have as well, the first episode of Celebrity Traitors. If you have not watched it, please put down your podcast. Do not listen to this because there will be spoilers. This is for people who've just watched it.
It's going to go off.
Oh, it is going to go off. I got to say, that did not disappoint.
No.
I loved it so much. Let
us begin. The cast, fine, you've read the list of the cast, but when you see it, you just think, my God, this is bizarre. Reality TV, once people regarded for washed up dregs, this is the most prestige format currently on British television.
It's pretty A-list.
It's in terms, like, you've heard of basically everybody, and if you haven't, there's a couple you're like, oh, I see why they're on.
And they're all genuinely excited to be there, and not in that normal reality show way of, oh my God, I can't believe we're here. This is so exciting. They're genuinely, oh my God, we are in the castle. This is going to be absolutely awesome.
The celebrity nature of it is totally crucial. That's what really struck me. We're watching a totally different version of the show now, as we discussed.
Which is why it really, really works. It works to have a celebrity version of this and a regular version because there are different dynamics at play.
The main one being, obviously, they all know each other or of each other to varying degrees, and you can be pretty sure they've Googled if they don't.
There's such a cute bit when Stephen Fry says to Nico Omalana, and of course you're the guy who does the pranks. And Nico's going, "You've heard of me?" And he goes, "Yeah, no, so he knew you were going to be on."
He's got the internet. The other thing you notice about it is, which is sort of funny and quite excruciating at moments, is that it's far more performative because I found that almost the bigger these stars were, the more annoying they were. There was incredibly, there was some incredibly lovey-ish bits at the start. You realise is that they're probably just really, really nervous. Which
you so rarely see.
But they're all out of their comfort zones because it's one thing being, it being your show. This isn't their show. They are in a group. They're not the star. They're just one of a group. It's not their stage anymore. Yeah. And it's surprisingly, I found, discombobulating. People who you think of as so poised because, you've watched like Jonathan Ross a million times, boss the whole of everything for decades. And suddenly you're like, oh, you're just a guy getting out of a car with a lot of other people. And I found it quite compelling.
It's very democratizing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Ingrid said instantly, she said, it's fascinating. They are all in a position where they don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And they have so rarely been in that position in the recent times of their, because you do become that because you're in control of your brand and who you are and you work with people that you trust. And suddenly you're like, well, I trust this brand. I trust the Traitors. I know I love this, but suddenly I have no idea what is going to happen.
Well, that's what we talked about before when we found out it was happening, and we talked about that months ago. We said this runs the risk, despite being everybody's favourite show, etc., it runs the risk of being very, very exposing. And there's something so kind of tempting about being in that castle if you're a massive fan of the show. And you almost think some people wouldn't have thought it through enough because everybody's got a screen persona. Yeah. Everybody and a broadcast persona or a YouTube persona or whatever it is. But you can't have that when you're in this ensemble. And your reputation is always precarious in reality TV. And I think because people think The Traitors is so classy and you don't have to talk about your personal life because you're always just talking about the game, which distinguishes it from a lot of reality TV formats, is that people aren't talking, they deliberately edit out stuff, that they're always talking about the game and the machinations and who might be on. That's why it works. And, whereas in Big Brother, they've got these kind of acres of time where they're talking about relationships in the past that got wrong or, when I was fired from this or that. There's none of that here. They're talking about the game always.
Yeah. Let's go straight in and talk about who the three traitors are. Again, if you have not watched it, we're about to give the big spoiler. So I predicted the three traitors would be Jonathan, Kat, and Celia. I was just thinking I had my producer's head on, but it's not. It's Jonathan, Kat, and Alan. And I have got to say, in terms of, we'll talk about Kat and Jonathan in a moment, but in terms of value, Alan, you're just straight in because he absolutely loses his mind immediately, which is so wonderful. He cannot, even before he's chosen as a traitor, he's almost in pieces.
Well, this is why the celebrity version of the game is different, because all civilians playing that game now, anyone, and in the version that we're going to see after Christmas, now realise that the strongest position in the game, well, apart from being recruited as a traitor later on in the game, is to be a traitor because you're controlling the game. whereas celebrities want to be loved to some extent. So all of them should have said, of course I want to be a traitor because I understand that I want to control the game.
Yeah, but a lot of them did. The one thing about if you are in the world of television, you sort of understand the format. You understand what is happening here. The money's going to go to charity. You want it to go to your charity if you possibly can. And the key thing about if you're a television presenter, we just talked about the thing of lack of control, is if you are a traitor, you are on television more. Like Nigel Farage said when he was on I'm a Celebrity,
Yeah.
if you get picked for the tasks, you get more screen time. More importantly, is you feel like you've got more control over your environment. You know, I always thought the reason I would find it difficult is if I was a faithful and I'm lying in my distant bunk miles away from the castle at 11 p.m. at night, I know that 3 people are filming up in the turret with Claudia, and
you're not one of them.
And someone's making them a cup of tea, and they're having a laugh, and and whatever twist is about to happen, they know what it is, and so they have much more of an element of control over the show.
You lose your mind. You get 1 hour's sleep.
I couldn't do it. I absolutely. I would honestly. I would say kill me now. Give me on.
It's kind of the game, but yeah.
Murder me instantly. I want to go home. If you are a traitor, you are sort of part of the production team. You know, you are, which is what a presenter wants to be. A presenter wants to be part of the production team. A presenter wants to know what's happening tomorrow.
The second Jonathan Ross was up in that turret, he was so much more like the old, I got to watch Jonathan Ross push a horse up a hill. He's having a meltdown. All of the times I saw Jonathan Ross, I almost couldn't look at him because I was embarrassed because he wasn't the Jonathan Ross I knew. Once he's in the tie, he's like, okay, I've got more control over this. But having to deal with the chaos of Alan Carr, which
oh my God,
was incredibly good value.
And the lovely thing is, you know, the two of them are old pals as well. So there's history there. By the way,
but I loved. Kat Burns,
amazing.
Sorry, I know the music, but I don't know enough about her. She's one of those ones that everyone, which is actually one of the other perfect positions
great bit of casting.
In terms of, it's a great bit of casting. The second I saw her pre-interview before she'd even been selected, I was like, oh my God, they've got to pick her. She's so sort of coolly impressive. And she, despite Jonathan Ross becoming a producer, she was almost like the most producer of all. That's not actually an adjective, of all of them.
Producerial?
Yeah,
it is.
It is now.
Yeah.
Of all of them.
I live my life producerially.
Saying, okay, but you've got to calm down to Alan Carr. She was really impressive. I'll be interested to see what happens with her.
So she is a great traitor. I think Jonathan might be a bad traitor because so the one thing about it that's going to play out interestingly, I think, is in the normal traitors, you work out the status after a sort of week or so. People kind of find their places, and at first, perhaps the older people are the ones with the highest status, and then after, perhaps then the people who are good at the tasks have the highest status. In this, we instantly know what the status is.
Yeah.
The one thing you know about every single celebrity that has ever lived is they know exactly where they stand in the ecosystem of celebrity. Each and every one of them could take all 19 names, rank them in order of the most famous to the least famous, and those lists would be almost identical from all of them. So you go in knowing that, and that gives you 2 different things. Immediately, it means there's 2 groups of people I think it's hard to murder straight away. The really famous people, because everyone there is a TV producer, really, and they're going, do I really want to get rid of Stephen Fry? I don't really want to get rid of kind of one of the biggest names there. I keep him in. They also know who is at the bottom of that status list, and they go, we can't get rid of those people immediately. That feels like bullying. So you really only have a choice of about 7 or 8 people in the middle of that list, the people who are famous enough.
All of which is such weak gameplay.
Yeah, but
they're celebrities.
It's weak gameplay.
They're conditioned to play the game weekly, which I love. Yeah. It's much more watchable.
But they'll be conditioned to play it weekly for about 3 days. And after like 3 or 4 murders, and I've talked to various people who are in it, and no one will tell me anything, but they all said it is unbelievable how quickly you start just playing a game.
Does it get like the Stanford Prison Experiment?
Yeah, I think so.
One of those great sort of,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. There is that, and also because it's going to last a shorter amount of time, I think the pace, again, will be quite claustrophobic, and it will pick up quickly because, as you say, in the civilian version, that might take sort of a week of stuff, but it will come quicker in this for definite. This episode is brought to you by Sky, where you can watch unmissable shows, including the brand new original thriller, The Iris Affair.
The Iris Affair is a sun-drenched chase thriller from Neil Cross, who is the creator of Luther. I love Luther. A deadly pursuit across Italy. I love Italy, with fewer postcards and piazzas and more shadows than sunshine.
At the heart is Iris Nixon, equal parts puzzle addict, charming genius, and serial imposter, stealing code tied to quantum technology that could tilt the balance of power.
I love puzzles. I love charming geniuses as well. On her tail is Cameron, wealthy, ruthless, and very well-resourced. Not the man you want chasing you through Sardinia.
The stakes aren't just personal, they're global. This isn't sightseeing, it's shadows and Aperol firmly off the menu.
Some people collect stamps, others dismantle the fabric of modern life before breakfast. Everyone needs a hobby.
Starring Niamh Alga from The Virtues, alongside Tom Hollander from The White Lotus and The Night Manager, The Iris Affair is the thriller that wastes no time and shows no mercy.
It's Italy with teeth, glamour, genius and betrayal played out on the coast. The Iris Affair begins 16th of October on Sky. We don't know who the first person to be murdered is, so we can all make predictions on that. It might be slightly random because, of course, Alan has to physically touch somebody, so it might be someone who's just in front of him at any given time. But I love Kat and Jonathan just saying, no one will... Jonathan's like, if I touch someone's face, it'll be creepy. Kat Burns going, I mean, I never touch anyone.
I touch people at the best of times.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
And they're saying to Alan, I mean, Alan, of course you would touch someone's face.
But to his credit, he knew immediately that it had to be him.
Yeah, he was like, do you know what? Oh, God,
Yeah.
I do have to do it. So he has got to wander around that house, find somebody to touch. I think that's a gender neutral thing. I think Alan can.
She was totally appalled at how loud he was talking about it.
It was
Sorry,
amazing.
he was, but you know.
He is an absolute liability. There's nothing better than the early days of the Traitors having an absolute liability as a traitor, and especially when it's Alan Carr.
Yeah.
And as I say, you're used to him being in control of stuff and in charge of something. To see him genuinely unravel, and because he's a comic, he unravels in a very, very funny way.
In an amusing way.
At the very start of the next episode, which is tomorrow, he is going to get rid of somebody. It's going to be very interesting to know who. I don't think it'll be any of the really high status ones. I don't think it'll be any of the lower status, the younger ones, essentially. By lower status, that's what I mean. The people who are, more on the nursery slopes. So it's got to be.
If he walks up and caresses Stephen Fry's cheek, I will cry with laughter, but it won't happen.
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoyed Nick being better at all the brain puzzles and the quizzes about Shakespeare than Stephen Fry.
Well,
but doing it in such a low key way, of course.
See, Nick Mohammed. If people just know him from Ted Lasso or something, Nick Mohammed is a genuine genius.
Yeah.
So when I used to go and see his Mr. Swallow shows, and he would do like maths puzzles and stuff, and genuinely do them and do these incredible feats. And yeah, if I'm doing something there when there's one of those slidey things, you just have to say to everybody, sit down, let Nick do it. He said at one point, this is an awful lot easier if it's just one person doing it. And he's the politest man
he's so diffident
in the whole world. He's just saying, and by the way, he started the whole thing by digging Celia's grave for her, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's just saying, honestly, it's going to be easier if you just let me.
You should have let him do the Shakespeare one as well.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about Claire Balding.
You know I love Claire.
I love Claire.
Claire was my house captain at school, and then we all voted for her to be head girl, and we all loved her. And that's how long I've loved Claire.
She was not my house captain at school.
No.
I do live quite near Claire.
Yeah.
And she is...
She's the
I'm going to say
dream.
one of the greatest human beings.
She's absolutely hilarious.
She is a delight in every way. And also it's exactly the sort of person to go, no, I'll put in the answer. Don't worry, I can do that. And the mistake that she made... The mortification.
I can't bear it.
I could not bear it. We had to look away. We were like,
it was awful. Because she and Tom Daly, sports people, had organised themselves, had organised everyone so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Daly's one to watch.
So people who put their heads above the parapet, I don't think it matters so much for this murder that's about to happen because there's a randomness to it. I think if there were a murder happening, okay, should I murder Claire? So Claire's put her head above the parapet by making that mistake, which could be seen as deliberate. We know it's not, but it could be. So you think, oh, great, we'll get rid of Claire. But of course, if you're a traitor, you're thinking, oh no, the faithfuls will get rid of Claire. Let's let them do that. We get rid of an absolute wild card. So if they were doing it normally, I mean, if you got rid of Joe Wilkinson, everyone would be like, huh? How? What's happening there? What have they done? It throws everybody for an absolute loop. The thing about having to touch someone's face, it takes all of that out of the equation.
Yeah.
So it has a randomness. I genuinely don't think he's about to touch Stephen Fry's face. I genuinely don't think he's about to touch, Nico Omilana's face. He seems lovely, by the way. Nico Omilana. I can't see anyone that they've cast well. There's no one you think, oh, good, they put someone deliberately annoying in. They've gone, no, we love this show. We're going to put in people who love this show and who people are going to love as well. I will say this, I think we can predict it's going to be an amazing series. And there's going to be twists and turns. And we know that these first 3 traitors are not going to end up being the 3 traitors, because that's never the case. I mean, it'd be very hard to sort of run the whole show, go through, the whole way through as a traitor. Doable, but hard. So as you say, it's going to be someone who's recruited at a later point, who's probably already proved for a fact that they're faithful. And,
it's possible for her to do it, for Kat to do it, because she has obviously the chops
can
for
do
it.
Yeah.
But purely because she has the chops for it. And she comes across, funnily enough, in an incredibly non-celebrity way.
Yeah.
If I can,
that
sounds like a sort of generalization. Like that is a truly selfless good deed possible. It is a brilliant celebrity game player possible.
Yeah.
It's hard to see it.
I mean, the other people I love Celia, of course. I haven't worked with her recently. And Celia said, and she'll say this in real life, she said, my thing is everyone thinks I'm lovely and I'm just not. But she says it in such a lovely way with such a lovely face. Everyone's going, oh, but come on. So she's the sort of person, if Joe
Marler, I thought, was terrific.
Joe is great. He doesn't muck about.
But there's more going on there and people might underestimate that.
Yes, I think so, but he's someone.
If he were ever recruited, I think he'd be.
I think he might go to pieces if he was recruited.
Do you actually?
I think that he might. I think the burden might be. I think he has a real sense of justice in his soul, Joe, and I think he might find it quite hard to be recruited. But we know that a few of them will be recruited, and if you recruited Celia, for example, then if you recruited Nick, he needs to hide the fact that he's incredibly smart. He's probably the smartest person there in terms of just human nature and stuff. He's
our stablemate David Olusoga's just been on.
He's not bad, is he?
He again, people might not be so familiar with what he does.
Yeah.
Because it's not such an obvious celeb-y thing.
Yeah.
He might adopt that kind of father figure.
Yeah,
how people, there's always they have them every year in all the civilian series, and so he could take that role of people think you're an authority figure. Once Stephen Fry has gone to pieces and been voted out, I'm joking.
Yes, because I feel like Stephen doesn't quite have the personality to be father of the house. Neither does Jonathan. So when you go down the list, who's the next? Mark Bonner, does he have the thing? But then David Olusoga, isn't it?
I just want to say I love Mark Bonner.
Yeah,
It's not to do with the point about traitors. I love you, Mark Bonner.
But what if he's about to have his face touched?
Oh my God!
See, he's in that group of 8 in the middle. I think
he is.
That's at risk. I would say that.
Middle order.
Is there anyone we missed out? Because I just want to make sure that we've covered everyone. Ruth, I loved. Lucy Beaumont didn't do much in that episode.
No.
So you sense that. Listen, this is just the editor in me. That maybe she's not going because we haven't, you would have seen a bit more of her if she was the person who was going to go. It's like when you watch...
Charlotte Church puts her back into things.
Charlotte Church does it. Oh,
quite
Charlotte
literally.
Church.
Yeah.
I mean, what if... Yeah. God, you could see Alan touching Charlotte Church's face.
She'd be such good value at the round tables, I'm afraid.
Oh, my God.
You're going to have to see that.
But that's the problem. There's nobody here. You think, oh, great, there's some dead wood here. Just get rid of person X. All of these people I want to see what they do. Oh no, Charlotte Church is a really good call.
She's got the most potential to say exactly what she thinks at a round table.
Yes.
In quite a non-celebrity way, which is really what you want, because you just want people losing their minds.
Yeah. And also, by the way, Celia will do that.
Yeah.
And Celia, because again, she looks like...
but she'll always have control.
Celia, I don't know if she will, because Celia always looks like butter wouldn't melt. I tell you now for a fact, it would melt. I mean, it really, really would. And if she wants to be mischievous, then she will be mischievous. So I hope that she sticks around for a while as well. But genuinely, I thought, what an absolute treat. It was everything I wanted it to be.
This is a series. You know how, like, when it's James Bond and you've got all the trainers, or Marvel and the actual physical trainers go on the interview circuit as well. Can we find out some more about the drivers? It is a beautiful piece of drive. I mean, neither of us drive.
No.
So I'm so impressed.
I'm assuming that's difficult.
I'm assuming what they do is very difficult.
How are they driving through that portico?
Sorry, can the Land Rover drivers be put on the circuit? Because I think that... No, but they did... It's a lovely piece of driving. But it all makes it... It's so camp. And obviously her outfits, the stylist. There's so many bits of...
Yes, we haven't even mentioned Claudia.
Yeah, but but all the things that people used to just sort of think were part of television... are so foregrounded in that show, like the craft of the games and the sort of stunts of it. The cinematography, you can almost call it that because it is so sweeping. The stylist, which, I mean, no one used to talk about the stylist for television. You know, all of this sort of stuff. It really does foreground lots and lots of craft jobs.
Because the game at heart is so simple.
Yeah.
And so you have enormous noise. Of course it's flawed, but, it's
flawed
in a beautiful way.
I wonder what the twist... They'll have a new twist that we haven't seen before in the final stages of that won't be, the ones that we've had in previous series.
And the other thing that struck me, which is, and it's weirdly, it's something that you get from crime fiction as well. If you're writing crime fiction, the thing you have to do is hide your clues, right? So you have to hide that you've given away the solution. You have to hide where it is. And crime fiction readers are very smart at spotting when something's slightly out of place. But it's very easy if you can write a joke. People don't notice because they're laughing and they go, "Oh, I understand why that's in there," because they tell a joke.
It's a joke.
Same in this is if you want to do these very serious conversations about, but are you a traitor? And you would say this, if you are funny, if you can do a joke, you can immediately block out any line of questioning you want to do. So I think if you're a comic, it's like if Joe Wilkinson was a traitor, he'd be a great traitor halfway through. He would find ways of, you could ask him something, and even if he realizes he's about to be caught out in a lie, which happens a lot, he would work out that he could say something funny and the conversation moves on. I loved it. I hope we can do, as it goes on, a couple more of these, and certainly before the final one.
Are we going to be unable to control ourselves? We're going to have to do more of these.
It's just nice to be able to talk about it straight after
at full
watching
length.
it.
It's not really a news item, but let's keep doing it.
Yeah, let's keep doing it. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thank you to our members. If you are not a member, this is a free one, and if anything we do on Celebrity Traitors, we'll make free because I think it's a big show, so it's that's not going behind a paywall. But if you do want to join, there's loads and loads of fun deep dives into famous shows, famous films, like great stories, lots and lots of great stuff in the archive. You can get access to ad-free listening and all that kind of stuff as well. Go to therestorsentertainment.com if you want to join. But thank you for listening to this one. We'll see everyone for our regular question and answers edition tomorrow.
We'll have calmed down by then.
We will have calmed down. Will we? Next we've got another episode to watch straight after.